Okay, part two, we're back to the note. Now, as it said in the last, where we left off in part one, this isn't what we want. We like the user to type something, then process the content when they are done. Process the content for us might just be a console.log, but it's going to be, we want to do some cooler stuff than that, but that'll be a minimum for us. Here are several ways to accomplish this. We're going to actually do this 3 different ways. A submit button, and I think this is maybe familiar for us, the idea of on our web page, when the user's done typing whatever they want to type, you hit a button and then bang, something else happens. That's what we're used to. And so how does that work? In your HTML, add a button, then add a listener to your button. This is easier in jQuery, we'll soon recall, but let's do that. In our HTML, this is HTML, button, and I'm going to call it ID equals my button, and I think that's all I need. Some text there, button, save that, just show you that the button's there. See, there's the button. It's not doing anything yet. The yep button's not doing anything. It says add a listener. And we haven't seen this yet. I think it was on the CEMC stuff, but not in Code Academy. And how we do that is we use this code. First of all, we set up in a similar way we did as the sum var. We use a button var like this. I'm going to copy that. And then in our code, underneath this grabs the button, and I'm going to call it my button here. My button is what I called it in my HTML. And that connects it and grabs that object, the button object. And then what we need to do is connect a event listener to it. Okay, and the event listener code looks like this. So I'm just going to copy that, and then we'll talk about it in a moment. So button var.add event listener. So this is a method of this object, and this is what we're going to do. When it clicks, it's going to run this code. It's going to run this code. It says this isn't really what we want to do. This is boring, but and notice that we didn't use name var. We use sum var. Right? So adds the event listener, and when it's clicked, there's probably different things you can do here, like hover, like double click, like all sorts of things. Key press probably, but I'll let you play around with that. This is just a click button, and then it's going to console.log the sum value. So let's show you that in action. And I'll go back to the note. So there's something good, and I'm going to change it, press yep, and then see there, that connected that, and that put the user's input into our program. Okay, and of course the processing is just a console.log. We want to do something cooler than that, but for now, just to show that it works, that'll do. Back to the note. A second way is using a submit button in HTML. So we have a button in JavaScript. So this is the idea, was the code was written in JavaScript. In here, the listener was added to this variable in our JavaScript, but we can do the same thing actually in our HTML. So in our button, we can add the event listener here, and it's with the keyword on click, and then I'm going to have what did I call it in my notes? I called it I'm clicked. And then it's going to run this function in JavaScript. Well, we haven't written that function yet, right? So up here we need to run a function called I'm clicked. And I'm just going to set that up and then go back to the note, make sure I'm not goofing anything up here. And we're going to write this code, what to do if it's clicked. In your HTML, add a button, we did that. Then add a function name that will be executed when the button is clicked. So button on click some JS func, and I called that I'm clicked. And then in JavaScript we have the same name with the round brackets and then what to do. Okay, this is the button in HTML. This is what we have in JavaScript. So what does that look like? Well, then all we need to do is go grab the text box and then console.log that. And then that's it. So all of this stuff isn't necessary. Let's have a look. I'm getting a little sloppy here. I'm going to try this again. So nothing printed out, and then hello, and now that's console.log. That's pretty cool. That's pretty slick. This idea of the on-click connects to the JavaScript from the HTML. Now that's kind of weird because not always will you be working with both files as a programmer. So sometimes it's better to put your JavaScript in, or your event listeners in your JavaScript like we did the first way, and sometimes it's better to do it in the HTML, maybe just because it's shorter, just like fewer code. That's only 3 lines, 4 lines of code. The third way, do I have anything else to say about this slide? I don't think so. That's done. Remember, add any details to your note that you like, is jQuery. And jQuery I'm going to come back to in part 3, the dreaded part 3.